empowered empath. My name is Seraphim. I am an extrasensory empath, tarotist, and spiritual guide. And I wanted to make a video to help you determine if you are an empath. So today I'm going to go through 7 key characteristics, and if you experience a few of these, chances are you at least have the door open ajar. You are sensitive to energy in some way. So from there, you can choose to either develop this gift or ability or not. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm also going to give you a technique that's going to help you deal with some of the energies that are coming in. And I'm also going to let you in on a little secret, so stick around for that. So before we get started, first of all, what is an empath? What is empathy versus actually being an empath? So empathy is where we're able to imagine what someone else must be going through, what someone else must be feeling based on their circumstances or situation. But it's sort of like imagining what that person's going through. As an empath, we don't have to imagine. We actually experience those emotions in our own bodies just as if they were our very own. This can be super confusing because we can't always tell which emotions are actually ours and which ones belong to other people. So becoming more proficient at this is really ideal for us, and the good news is the technique I'm going to give you at the end of the video will help you to do that. So like I say, stick around for that. So to jump right into these 7 key characteristics, what am I talking about? Now, as I go through these, keep a tally in your mind. Keep track of how many you are saying yes to, how many apply to you, okay? The first one is pretty obvious. This is where people just tell you that you're oversensitive, probably a lot, probably your whole life. Empaths feel emotions very, very deeply. And on top of that, on top of feeling our own emotions deeply, we're feeling other people's emotions quite deeply as well. So we often will be told that we're oversensitive. Empaths may be sensitive to things like violence, even just people being mean to one another can be really difficult. Conflict is really difficult for empaths. Any points of tension like that. So yes, people will have told you that you are very oversensitive. That's number 1. Number 2, anxiety. So this one goes hand in hand with being an empath, because when you're feeling so many emotions and you don't necessarily know where they're coming from all the time, it can be a very anxious experience. Also, we want to make things better. And when there's so much energy going on, we may not necessarily know what's the best way to do that. As an empath, we're picking up on emotions that we don't get to choose the good ones or the bad ones. We just pick up on all of the emotions. Group situations can be particularly difficult for this because we have so many energies coming in. It's really difficult to pinpoint where is the tension or where is this particular energy coming from. So that is very anxiety inducing. So anxiety, like I say, definitely number 2. That goes hand in hand with being an empath, in particular the anxiety in social situations. Or with specific people, I should say also. I find some people will broadcast very loudly, and even for me, there's some people it's tougher to be around them, or I need to be more aware and make sure that I have my little shield up, which I'm going to show you at the end. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is enjoying your alone time, and I mean like a lot. Empaths tend to enjoy a lot of alone time because it's how we recharge. Now, alone time can be spent in nature or with animals. And I know being with animals isn't really being alone, but animals offer companionship without asking anything from us. Even if we're picking up on their emotional state, it tends to be a lot less complex than that of your typical human. So something to bear in mind if you are looking for a lot of alone time, or if you find that your alone time is where you recharge, you love to go out, maybe, walk along the beach or the forest or just the nature in your area, and you really resonate with animals, that's a really strong sign that you may likely be an empath. Number 4. Number 4 is really interesting. This is where some empaths may be very sensitive in other ways, in terms of the more mundane senses. So in this, I'm speaking of taste, touch, hearing, sight, things like this. So, for example, some empaths, we just absolutely cannot watch anything violent. I'm like this. I really don't like watching violent movies, or I have a hard time seeing that. People getting hurt, I absolutely cannot watch that. Sound is another one. If there's a lot of sounds going on, if you become easily overwhelmed by just a cacophony of sounds around you, that can be a sign that you're sensitive in other ways. So any of the senses, if you find that you may become overwhelmed by touch, taste, touch is a big one because it's a huge transmitter of energy, but touch, taste, any of the other more mundane senses, if you're getting overwhelmed by these senses from time to time, that can be a sign that you may be sensitive to other more subtle energies as well. Okay, this next one is a bit of a heavy one, and so I want you to be really honest with yourself about this. Do you numb yourself with the use of substances? And when I say numb yourself, I mean numb your perceptions, numb your thoughts, or numbing your feelings. Because this absolutely can be a sign of trying to numb out extrasensory input. Now, of course, not always the case, but empaths can be susceptible to addictions as coping mechanisms or as crutches. So this is why I say I hope you can be very honest with yourself if this one applies to you. I know it can be tough. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is unexpected surges of emotions. Now, I preface this one as well. Just like the last, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an empath if you're having unexpected surges of emotions. There can be hormonal things going on. There can be a bipolar situation. Go see a doctor. Make sure that you rule out any kind of potential medical cause for that. However, if you've done that and you've ruled out any other potential medical causes, then these surges of emotion may simply be coming in from external stimulus. So that's something that must be considered and rolled out as well. But again, this technique I'm going to give you shortly is going to help you determine whether the energies are coming from within or without. So we'll help you determine this as well. Are these surges of emotion actually yours? Does this belong to you? All right, last but not least, and this one is a super, super important one. Do you find yourself acting as the social lubricant in social situations? That sounds really funny, right? So what the heck do I mean by social lubricant? By social lubricant, I mean you are finding the tension points in a group situation and you're easing those tension points, and you probably don't even notice that you're doing it. So for instance, you're in a group and you find that just picking up that the person across from you is really not comfortable with this topic of conversation. And so to help, you shift the conversation, you change the topic of conversation, and now you can feel that person relax. And in turn, you get to relax a little bit. But now you're picking up that somebody else is maybe feeling a little bit withdrawn and like they're not part of the group, they're not feeling that sense of belonging, they've been really quiet. So you're going to ask them a question and draw them into conversation and help them feel that sense of camaraderie. And as you feel them relax, you also can relax. So this is what I mean. Probably don't even notice that you're doing it. It's something that is like an automatic reaction because we want to make people feel comfortable and feel better. And part of it is because we want to feel comfortable and feel better. So there's an interplay of energy going on, and you are managing it as an empath. You may not even realize that you're doing it, or the actions that you're taking are to do precisely that. But when you take a look at your experiences in groups and how do you behave, start paying attention and observing exactly what it is that's motivating your behavior if you find yourself doing these things. You may find that you are, in fact, an empath. Okay, so I've gone through these 7 key characteristics. How many apply to you? Tell me down below. I want to see in the comments how many of these characteristics apply to you. Frankly, if any one of these characteristics apply to you, chances are you're at least somewhat sensitive to energy. You can develop that and hone that. If all of these apply to you, well, you are an empath. And I would say really even if only 2 or 3 of these apply to you, you can conclude that you are an empath. Now, I also said that the technique that I'm going to give you is going to help you seal the deal and help you really determine if there's any shadow of a doubt. Are you an empath? It will also help you to deal with some of these energies that we've been talking about. So, what is this technique? All right. So first thing you want to do is make sure that you're nice and planted. Now you can do this standing up, you can do it standing in line at the bank, you can do it in your car as well. Just make sure that you're feeling good and planted and solid and secure in your seat. The idea is to be able to do this in a matter of seconds and to just use your mind's eye to imagine. So again, don't close your eyes. This is supposed to be like a waking or walking meditation. Just use your mind's eye and imagine sort of in the back of your mind. And as you do this, it might feel weird at first, okay? But as as you do this, just practice, because it will come easier. The visualization will become stronger and more clear the more often you do this. And then you will have a stronger intent and a stronger projection behind the energy that you're putting forth. Okay, so stick with it first of all. Okay, so you've planted yourself, you're feeling good and secure in your seat. Now you want to ground yourself into Mother Earth. You may already know what I'm talking about when I say this. For those of you who don't, essentially this is going to be a visualization where you are connecting yourself with Mother Earth. The purpose of this visualization is to connect your root chakra with Mother Earth. Okay, so I want you to visualize that however it makes sense to you. I like to use a beam of light. So I'm going to visualize the beam of light coming straight out of my tailbone into Mother Earth, into the center of the earth, and just feel that nice connection. I like to send love through that connection. You don't necessarily have to do that, but as you become more proficient, it's just kind of a nice thing to show gratitude to Mother Earth. And she always will return that energy as well, so you may feel a nice little tingling up the back of your spine, which is really nice. Okay, so now that we're grounded, we're solid, what we want to do is we want to visualize, again, just in your mind's eye. You don't have to close your eyes. You're nice and planted and secure. I want you to visualize a bubble of pink light around you. Why am I choosing pink? I don't love pink, no. I'm choosing pink because it is a healing color. It is a healing energy. Okay, so we're going to use this energy of the color pink to project a healing intention on those around us. Nothing can penetrate this pink bubble, all right? This is our shield. Nothing can penetrate. Our intention is to project our own signature, and that's what we are using this pink bubble to do. We are projecting this pink light on anyone who comes into our aura. It is a healing energy. It is a welcoming and healing and loving energy. It is not going to repel anything. It's simply not going to let anything pass. It is not a rejection of any energy or a judgment on any energy, but simply we are offering an energy of healing instead. So this is how we can begin to project our own signature instead of being so influenced all the time by the energies around us. It's how we can step into this gift much more intentionally and begin using it to transmute the energies, as is our purpose. Okay, I also said I was going to let you in on a little secret, and you stuck around this long. Thank you so much. So what is the secret that I'm talking about? Well, almost everyone is born an empath. Almost everyone. And whether or not this is nurtured will determine whether or not we are empathic later in life. Now, this means that it's something that we can all return to. And ultimately, this is what activated empaths want to help other people return to, is this understanding of energy and how we can use this to heal and to live in a more heart-centric way. So if you find that you, as I said before, if you're finding that, only one or two of these apply to you, but you're curious what that could mean and you're curious in developing that, then absolutely, by all means, follow that path. I hope this is an inspiration to you to start down that spiritual path, because operating as an empath and not knowing what's going on can be so challenging and really disheartening and discouraging. Empaths have soft hearts and we can really be taken advantage of. Boundaries are very important. Understanding how to genuinely help people in a way that empowers them to help themselves instead of depleting ourselves by giving and giving is really vital in the ascension of an empath. And my hope is with these videos to help you do that. Okay, so I rambled on about that for a really long time. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to learn more about me or my practice, you can visit me on Facebook. I'm under Tarot by Seraphim. Also, the link is down below in the description. You can also contact me directly. I have a contact info down there for you as well. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a like, share, a subscribe. I'd really love to hear your comments down below. If you have any questions or subjects that you want me to talk about in future videos, please, I want to hear about it. I want to open up this conversation with my fellow empaths and create a community for us to support one another. All right, guys, blessings to all. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Empowered Empath.